Let's talk about this more now with Joel Rubin. He served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Legislative Affairs during the Obama administration. Joel, as you see it, is Netanyahu slow walking phase 2 of the peace deal here?
Well, Brianna, it's great to be with you. And he is certainly moving at a snail's pace, and he does need to step it up. I think that President Trump is right to bring him in, to pressure him, and to, of course, also pressure our other allies in the region like Qatar and Turkey and Egypt to provide more support to get Hamas disarmed. That's crucial. That will get us through this moment. But the prime minister, he's really not anxious to see a political reality settle into Gaza that creates the foundation for a Palestinian state. And so he's kind of in a bind on this about not going too fast to get to that endpoint, but also not wanting to disappoint President Trump. And I think that's where they're hitting their moment right now today.
How do you get to disarmament, Joel, if Hamas's military wing is coming out today saying that is not going to happen?
Well, what you do is you make it clear that it is going to happen, and that as the United States, that's what we're committed to, and that all of our allies in the region need to hear this. And of course, the Israelis will also argue, and I think it's credible, that they could potentially resume military operations if Hamas does not live up to that disarmament. But we have to get some movement from the prime minister to make the argument as well to the region that they need to lean in on Hamas. Hamas is a bad actor. Hamas started the war on October 7th, 2023, and Hamas is oppressing its own people. It's in no one's interest to have Hamas still be militarily empowered in this process. They do need to be disarmed.
So Netanyahu's domestic political situation, Joel, it's something you can't ignore here when you're looking at this summit at Mar-a-Lago. And Netanyahu arrived. You had Trump claiming Israeli President Herzog had told him that a pardon for Netanyahu is, quote, on its way. Herzog's office quickly denying that that's the case. How are you looking at all that?
Yeah, look, Brianna, the prime minister understands that, he is most popular when he hugs Donald Trump, and he can't have any daylight between him and Donald Trump because Trump is very popular in Israel. But related to the pardon and the call for a pardon, that's really offensive to the Israeli people at the same time. And so if the prime minister pushes too hard, many Israelis who support Trump are going to feel that he's meddling in their democracy. And this is a pardon request related to an ongoing criminal case for corruption. So I think the president, he should stay out of this. But if Prime Minister Netanyahu wants to take advantage of that push, it may very well cost him at the polls. And so this is seen as meddling. And for the prime minister, he also needs to stay close to Trump. But the Israeli people understand that there is a case, and they don't want to see it upended by foreign interference.
Notably this afternoon, President Trump sort of gave the green light to Israel to find information about whether Iran was restarting its nuclear capabilities, restarting its nuclear program following strikes earlier this year. The president saying that he would be supportive of an Israeli strike if Tehran were to be found to be accelerating its nuclear program. Do we know at this point what the Iranian capacities are, what they're capable of?
We don't. We have estimates that are based upon previous inspections from the International Atomic Energy Agency and, of course, our intelligence apparatus as well. It's understood that Iran is reconstituting at some level, potentially through oversight surveillance. We see them potentially digging into new sites to rebuild a nuclear bunker of some sort, but we really don't. And this is why we do need a diplomatic arrangement ultimately with Iran that locks in the gains that were made from those military strikes. Continual strikes again and again are going to be less effective going forward than they were previously because of the intelligence that we had before due to all of what I described in inspections. So it's a very tenuous situation. I think the administration should try its best to lock in the gains from last June and get a diplomatic deal with Iran that prevents them from ever accelerating their nuclear program.
Joel Rubin, appreciate the analysis. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.